Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and I had a great question come in today on one of the forums I'm on, and the question was, what's causing my clear aligner breakage? And I've done a video before. If you go to my YouTube channel and you put in like Invisalign, breakage or break, you will watch that video. It lightly covered it. I'm gonna go a little more in detail into it. I realized I didn't probably hit some of the points that I needed to. I am not picking on any company here because breakage happens and it's very rarely the cause of the company. So it's usually either the patient's mistake or the doctor's mistake. So I'm gonna kind of take you through the 3 different ways it could be somebody's mistake and what some of the variables are and what I would do. So whenever I have a patient coming in and they say, oh, you know, my aligners keep breaking, I gotta put my detective hat on and I gotta rule out all kinds of options. So first thing I'm gonna do, let's say they're on aligner 4. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, please bring in all your old aligners as well as a few, like the next aligner. So if 4 broke, I want you to bring in 1, 2, 3, and all your patients should be saving at least their last 5 old aligners. They need to save all their aligners in between their appointments. Now, of course, if your patient is a virtual patient, and I'm hoping when you're doing aligners and anything removables that you're using the virtual workflow. And if you don't know what the virtual workflow is, you can again go to my YouTube channel and search by keyword virtual and look at virtual aligner check-ins. It is what you should be doing, and it's a complete waste of time. And in our offices, we are using virtual workflow as one option, Invisalign Virtual, using the Invisalign Practice app, and then the patient app on the other side. As well as there are other independent companies you can use. My favorite is In-Hand Dental. Of course, DM is the ultimate. It's a little more expensive. It has AI. It really depends on which ones you like. And there's other ones out there, but those are I would say the top 3, and those are the 3 that I am familiar with. I'm not saying anyone is better than the other. It's just a personal experience of what works best for you. I don't have any DM connections, so if you guys are trying to get a discount, I'm the wrong person. I've been to their seminars and stuff. They're a great product. I have met their CEO a few times, but I don't have any direct connections right now, so I can't get you a discount. If you want In-Hand Dental, I can get you a discount. So contact me and I will refer you to them. They're awesome. I know their team really well. And of course, Invisalign Virtual is free, but you can only use it on your Invisalign cases. You do need to purchase the retractors from the store. But right now, last I checked, there's a sale on the retractors and they were $3 and change. So that's a pretty good deal. So if you're only doing Invisalign in your practice, well, then it makes sense to use Invisalign Virtual to me. Unless if you don't want Invisalign having access to all your patient data, which is your personal choice, but I'm kind of sidebarring here. All right, going back to the thing. So, bring in all your old aligners. If they're not saving them, you are instructing your patient wrong. Every single patient should save their at least last 5 aligners and bring them to every appointment, be it virtual or in person. That's what I'm getting at. And I've been preaching that for years. Give them a nice little place to store them, like a tackle box or something like that. It only costs like $5. Use your Cricut labeler and someone in your office who's crafty to make them look cute. This is like $6, $7, $8 worth of effort that they're probably going to put on Instagram, and you're going to get so many more patients out of blinging this out and making this experience like extra cool. But yeah, I was saying in our office, we offer a virtual workflow or an in-person workflow. We have a lot of older Invisalign patients that are like 50, 60. Okay, I'm old. Okay, sorry, I'm not old. 60, 70, 80, older, like my grandma's age, that do aligners. And those, they don't really get into the apps. So, but the younger patients like the apps. So it really depends on what experience. They need to pick a lane. So be it virtual or in person. Obviously the virtual ones, you need to be checking in every aligner through the app. It's pretty freaking amazing. You can easily do a full Invisalign case in just 3 to 4 appointments. And this is like standard. Most orthodontists are doing that now, and just clear up all this wasteful chair time. But if your patient really likes to come in and talk story, chit chat, then fine, do that. Okay, so bring in the old aligners. Obviously, the other thing you need to do is have an orthodontist look at your treatment plan. If your treatment plan is too aggressive or rapid, which if you didn't intentionally slow it down, it probably is, and y'all know my position on doublet, triplet. So if you don't know what doublet, triplet means, again, search by keyword within my YouTube channel, and it will explain that and how I do this and how this just cuts down the refinements and revisions like exponentially if you double it and triple it. Have an orthodontist look at the biomechanics of your treatment plan, make sure it's a reasonable treatment plan. So if the case is too rapid, it's too big of biomechanics in between each, too much movement in between each aligner, and all it takes is the patient changing it too quickly when it wasn't quite tracking, and now it's weeble wobbling, rocking, and it's gonna flex. So that's that. So check the length, have an orthodontist check the biomechanics, bring in all your old aligners to see exactly where we are, to see if they're wearing an improper aligner that's not fitting. Ultimately, if there's an undercut, this tends to happen less with Invisalign because it has a better trim line, in my opinion. I have to keep saying my opinion now, in my opinion. There are ones with higher trim lines. There's nothing wrong with that, but you tend to have more issues with the undercuts. The more you have an issue with an undercut, the more you're gonna have an issue with breakage. So just keep that in mind as well. Yeah, I mean, those are the main things. You're just gonna look at the fit, have an orthodontist look at the treatment plan, see if it's too fast. Let's see, bring in your old trays, see if it's too aggressive, tripling the trays, and that's pretty much it. But you should be able to find the source of it. It is unlikely it's a manufacturing defect is what I'm getting at. It's probably either something your patient is moving too fast and it wasn't quite tracking, and you're not using my instructions for changing aligners. So I'm gonna go over my instructions again because they really, 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 really work, and I have them in a ton of videos. Okay, here's my take-home instructions that every single person in your office should know backwards and forwards. Front desk, back office, and doctors and hygienists. They should be able to recite this in their sleep. Okay, we're gonna go ahead at the first delivery appointment, and we're gonna try in aligner number 1 before we put the attachments on. This is important. If aligner number 1 doesn't fully 100% seat like a glass slipper, like a custom wetsuit, then you have potentially an issue, okay? There might have been an issue with manufacturing, or teeth shifted around, like maybe there was too long since when you did the scan and when you did the plan and the delivery, okay? It happens. So in that case, I'm gonna have you wear aligner number 1 without attachments, without IPR for 2 weeks, and then come on back to the practice in 2 weeks. If it's fitting like a custom glove or wetsuit at that point, great. We can go ahead and put on the attachments and do the IPR. I'll get to the rest later. If it's not perfectly fitting everywhere after the 2 weeks of wear without the attachments, without the IPR, you need to do a warranty fit, okay? Do not put the attachments on. And that is like step 1, what most people do wrong. Then you put the attachments on. Let's say it was okay. You're not doing the warranty fit. Again, try an aligner number 1. If it's weeble wobbly or not fully fitting, one of 2 things happened. Either you put the attachments on wrong and they slid, or it's just a lot of attachments and it's just an undercut that needs to be engaged. So then you have the patient, you tell the patient, and assuming you doubled it or tripled it and slowed it down, if you didn't, then these instructions don't work. You tell them, we're gonna do 7-day wears once it fully seats. Here's your chewies. I want you to use your chewies 3 times a day for 15 minutes. I wanna see chewies all over the patient's house, all over the patient's car, in the patient's shower, in the patient's case, in the patient's pocket. There should be chewies all over the house. My daughter has Invisalign, there's chewies everywhere. Or munchies, I don't care, okay? Give your patient a ton of chewies to start. Tell them they can buy the rest of their chewies or their munchies on Amazon, all different flavors, shapes, sizes. I don't really care. Mile mints, ortho mints, whatever. Use them 3 times a day, 15 minutes. Their 7 days, this is important, their 7 days does not start until the patient fully gets the aligner seated like the custom wetsuit. So if it takes them 1, 2, 3, 4 days to get it fully seated, 7 days doesn't start until then. So some weeks they're gonna wear it for 10 days. Some weeks they're gonna wear it for 7 days. And again, this is only if you've intentionally slowed down the plan. My plan only works if you do it the way I'm telling you to do it, okay? And then repeat. Next aligner, same thing. They're gonna try an aligner number 2. They're gonna save aligner number 1 in between appointments. And same thing, if it doesn't 100% seat, look in the mirror, look with a flashlight. The 7 days does not start until it's fully seated. If they can't ever get it fully seated, they need to go back to the previous aligner, wear it another week. If they still can't get it seated, they need to call you, come in, bring the old aligners in. That's it. That's how it works. If you use this workflow and if you have an orthodontist double checking the biomechanics of your treatment plan, you will not have issues with breakage. It's going to be a one-off unless there's a manufacturing problem because we're eliminating all the other issues that come up. And you will have very few refinements. It'll be a one-off. You want your refinement rate well under 30%. And if you're not sure what it is, go sign up for Invisalign Analytics. And I don't know if the other companies do that, but it's gonna blow you away. You want to be doing Invisalign efficiently, productively, and effectively like an orthodontist does. And if you've got high refinement revision rates or breakage rates or patients complaining you're not doing it right, and it's so easy to do it right too. So why not, yeah? So that's pretty much what I had to tell you. The only other point I wanted to give is that if your aligners are breaking due to wear, That's a different story than everything else, than undercuts. Your patient has an airway problem, potentially, in my opinion. So that means that you need to screen your patient for airway. That means you kind of overstepped and started the aligners before you probably should have, because airway problems should be addressed first before starting aligners, okay? Or starting any ortho. That's more important. So if you don't screen your patients for airway, if you don't do sleep in your practice, find someone who does, get the patient screened, check tonsils, check adenoids, do an adult sleep screening, have them do a sleep study, and look into that. Because if there's an airway problem, that trumps any type of cosmetic or orthodontics, in my opinion. And I am all about adult and pediatric airway. I don't teach adult airway, so you need to go to a course that does, because that's sleep and I like to stay in my lane. But kids airway is all about ortho. Glad to help you with that. If you want more information, I'm here for you. All right, that was a lot. Take care. Happy Friday.